Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Media Watch. I'm your host, Dr. Savi. Every week we try and bring some fantastic guests and we also look at the news from the week. Now, last time around we did the show, we looked at the Serbian refugee situation, which is absolutely awful, and it continues to be awful as well. And this week we're going to look at another theme relating it to current news that's out and about. For example, the new Labour leader. If we've got time, we'll talk about the situation over in Syria, the conversations that are going on to help nip the issue in the bud. There's not a single issue, it's a number of issues in Syria with regards to lots of fractions that are there, and factions. There's fractions because they break up, and they're factions because they're in their own little groups. That is the Obama side, as well as the Russians and the Iranians and the Assad regime and the local fighters and ISIL. Talk about a complicated problem. And let's continue with the show. As I said before, we get some fantastic guests, and this week is another week of having some great people on board, and we're so grateful for their time. And they are a number of people who do full-time jobs, but also they do some wonderful, what we call in Sikhi, selfless service. So I'm not necessarily going to introduce them, I'll let them introduce themselves. We'll go from my right, which happens to be your left. We'll start off with Manmeet. Manmeet, welcome to the show. Wagi Khalsa, Wagi Fateh.
Wagi Khalsa, Wagi Fateh. I'm Manmeet Singh. I work for a bank as Director of Risk and Compliance, and I set up Gyan Foundation, which works on Sikhi way of life and helping the people who need it.
Okay, and so you do a lot of charity work, don't you?
Yeah. Charity work.
I saw some of the photos, and we've got some of them that we're going to show now. Tell us a little bit about what was that inspiration that you had, that you started that off?
Well, it was all about having a vision, having a requirement, a need for it, and it was following the Sikh principles. All our work that we do is all based on the Sikhi values. So what is the way we can put these Sikh values forward? So it's all about wherever we see there's a requirement, we work for it, and we take the initiative and do the work. Okay,
so you worked your wife into it. I think maybe the other way around, actually. Maybe your wife worked you into it. But anyway, as together as a phenomenal force together, Anita Singh, welcome. Tell us a little bit about, you do the Gyan Foundation as well. You've got a lot of educational background as well, haven't you?
Yes. I've worked in a school for 15, 16 years now. Special needs mainly is my expertise. But yes, we work together with Gyan Foundation, and we've also now recently set up a Sikh school teaching Punjabi and Sikh studies to, we're up to about 100 children now.
You've done it in Brent Sikh Centre, haven't you?
Yes.
And also in Ealing Gurdwara and lots of places, haven't you? You've done that?
Yes, we've done, we started a long time ago, about 20 years ago, in Southall. Well, Manmeet did.
Well, when you were about 2 years old, yeah?
Thank you.
That's going about 15, 20 years ago. We started in Beaconsfield School, and it was quite interesting because we went there for some, by chance we happened to be at the school and start talking, and the Rani Pamra, who used to run the school with Mrs. Pank, they said, it looks like you've got good knowledge about Sikhi, so why don't you come and teach us Sikhi? So they, at that time, only focused on Punjabi teaching. Right. So we brought that Sikh values principle in there. Suddenly I was teaching about 200 kids altogether on the Sikhi. So
fantastic. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. Let's move on to our other guests as well that we have today. Serena. I'm going to get your name right. I'll let you say it, actually.
I'm Shireen Aurelius.
Dr. Serena Aurelius, yep. Right. And you are president of Sterling
Dental Foundation.
Okay, great. Yep. And you've got a particular association with Bobby, which we're going to introduce in a second as well. But tell us a little bit about what is Sterling, what does it do?
Sterling, we're a new foundation. We are trying to help, well, our first project is to work with Bobby. He's an inspirational man. And on his 2,600-mile walk at the age of 80 years young, we're hoping to set up some cancer screening clinics.
Fantastic.
It's one of quite an important thing to me. I've been a dentist for a while now, and in less than a quarter of my working life I've made more referrals to for suspicious cancerous lesions, so it's something I feel really personally quite strongly about. People don't realise how important it is to go and see their dentist for
Fantastic.
Screening of oral cancer.
Very, very good. And then you've got an event happening which we'll talk about in a bit. Bobby Singarovar, good to meet you. Sashkar. Tell us, you've done some incredible walks, and as you've just been described as an inspiration. Tell us a little bit about those walks that you've done.
I am Bobby Garewal, 80 years old young man. My passion is charity for the past 15 years, since I semi-retired at the age of 65. And I'm the chairman of India Association, which is a registered charity. I have done quite a bit of charity work so far with the help of my association, executive members, life members, and we have raised a lot of money.
I think it's £300,000
without any expense, maybe 2% of the expenses.
Right.
Over £300,000 have been donated all over the world, not only in this country or India, but all over the world, wherever there was a need, no matter how small or how big, we have donated over there. And I walked in India in 2004-05, a walk of 2,556 miles. I slept rough on the road in a caravan on a 2 foot by 5 foot bed, sofa, from where I fell many times on the floor.
Because you're tired?
Because it was too small,
oh, right, okay.
And I was too tired while walking. And but it was my passion. I enjoyed every bit of that. India, where I was born and brought up, I didn't have the chance to see it. I came very young over here. So I saw India by foot, not by aeroplane, not by cars or buses, by foot.
Fantastic.
And we raised lots of money, over £100,000, gave it to Northwick Park for cancer research and HIV. And then I did another small walk, which was Parliament to Parliament, Edinburgh to London. Again, we raised over £100,000. We gave it to Sterling, St. Mark's Research Institute for bowel cancer research. And then we did another small thing. We raised money for Help for Heroes.
Oh, right.
We gave them £25,000.
Fantastic.
And now I'm doing another walk, which is my passion to go around India to make a circle. Perhaps that will be I think nobody has ever done that before.
Very good.
And then we're taking his passport straight off.
And that walk will start on 25th of October.
Okay.
Hopefully it will finish at the end of March, first week of April.
Brilliant.
Hopefully we will raise lots of money, and we will be donating that money to Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital, whatever the money raised in this country, and also to British Asian Trust, and our supporters are like Sterling Dental Foundation, and also World Cancer Care. So these people are behind us to support us.
So one of the things is just move on to the actual kind of main part that we wanted to talk about was, so we are talking about leadership in one sense, leadership in charity, leadership in terms of the energy that you have that actually does that. I'll ask a question to Anita. Tell us, what gives you that drive, to want to do this? I mean, you look at these kind of news stories like, Jeremy Corbyn saying that, inequality and injustice is inevitable, right? Is it inevitable? Where you have the haves and the have-yots, the people that have money and the people that have too much money, because literally in the world, and we talk about this charity thing, it's something like the wealth of the world is literally owned by 5% of the population, right? And we have this massive imbalance. Do you think that the things that you do and the way that you inspire other people can change that? I mean, what do you, when you get up in the morning, how do you feel? Do you, I'm going to change the world. What makes you think like that? Why do you think like that?
Absolutely. I think my most important inspiration has always been my children. Once you become a mum, you sort of think, what am I going to pass on to my children? My religion, my culture is a huge passion inside me, and that drives me every single day. The principles that we've received from our gurus initially, that drives me. And to show not just children, but to show every human being there's something that you can do out there that can help somebody else. Through all the different sort of charity work that we've done, hopefully we're showing people that you can still walk at this age, You can, we've climbed Snowdon, we've done coat appeals, fed the hungry. So we've had children just bring in a little toy and donated that to hospitals.
I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Harpreet Batra, right? You mentioned him on the show. He's a lovely chap. He also works in risk as well. And he was saying to me, what's really good about some of the things that I think you were involved in the Sikh Connections thing, you said that, was that it was the formula was simple in terms of making it easier for people to give. And do you think that's part of it? In terms of actually setting up a mechanism that, you know, it's a simple process. You know, for example, to contribute to Bobby's thing, it's easy. You can go online and you can contribute. But there's also apathy as well, isn't there? People don't always do it. You know.
I think it's all about empathy. Of course, you know, you have to have empathy in you to even start thinking about.
So you've got to move from apathy to empathy, right? Yeah.
So you start thinking of this way that you have to have vision, what you're trying to achieve, and you have to have passion inside you, trying to work towards that vision. And then basically, and above all, it's all about being selfless. So you do these things not for yourself, you do it for general good. And the guiding principle for me and my wife, and it comes from the following the great example of the Sikh gurus who were given these to us. It's a simple, pure message: Nam japna, van chakna, kirat karni. So it's all about, you know, sharing. Sharing is not just about the money. Sharing about your time, your physically, whichever, financially, whichever way you can, and doing good deeds, glorious deeds, right? Nothing is because not considering yourself, but what can you do?
And the true selflessness is not actually getting something back in return. I mean, for example, the work that you, I mean, if you help out a patient, you know, okay, they pay for it, whatever, but you don't necessarily, you know, it's nice if they do say thank you back, but you don't necessarily expect it. You know, it's quite a noble profession to be either a doctor or a dentist or something in the medical field. It's quite important. But, you know, I'll ask the same question, and I'll come back to you in a second. You know, so you've been doing this for quite a few years, you know, 80 years of you know, young, as you say, and you've done lots of other projects and things. So you know, when you're walking, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about all the people that are going to be helped? Are you thinking about, I need to get to the next mile because it's going to earn X amount of money to help other people? What's the kind of thing that goes through your mind?
I will be thinking all the time, passion of my life for good causes, so that enormous money is raised through the media and through talking to people and helping on the roadside, the town we will be passing through, people in any way we can. If there's any need of anything and we got the money, we are supported by the Indian people while we are over there, we will support those people. But
do you think in India is a quite complex, you know, country, isn't it? There's many different types of people. The people in the south don't necessarily speak the same language. They don't necessarily have the same political system in each from state to state. So it becomes very difficult to bring about change, doesn't it?
I think it's very easy. I don't know how we can say like that. For the last 67 years, since we got the independence, a country with so many religions, so many languages, so many different food, dresses and everything, we are united like this. Right? And 1.2 billion people living over there in peace and harmony with each other. I think that's an example to the whole of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, to be fair, I mean, you know, it's an ideal way of doing it, and you know, not being negative. There have been negative elements in that country, like every other country. There have been times of negativity, haven't there?
No, I slightly, if I may say so,
sure.
I slightly disagree over there. India is not like any other country apart from China.
Right. Okay.
India is a huge, huge country.
It's a massive country.
And China hasn't got that many problems, which we should have, but they're not there. We are still over there, united as a big nation, and we are doing wonders. I think people say we are not progressing, there's nothing, religion over there, language over there, we are fighting with each other. But look at the progress we have seen.
No, I think I agree with you. Progress has been made over 60 years. No one's denying progress has been made. I think sometimes, and even you, if you watch movies and stuff, you can see that. Is that a reflection of real life or is it an exaggeration? Yeah, and you mentioned the key word media, right? Do you think that media generally is, and this is what this program is really about, Do you think there's enough good news stories that are coming out, whether it be people in the UK or people in India?
Well,
There's plenty of bad news stories, like Surat Singh. There's plenty of other situations where people are just ignoring people that are trying to do things for other people. But there doesn't seem to be enough good news stories talking.
Well, this is, if I may say so, this is a little bit of the bad luck of my organization, India Association. It is probably our own fault. I did 2 walks, and both those walks, there was no support from the media.
Right,
Probably it
interesting.
was our own fault.
No, well, maybe it's because the general media isn't necessarily interested.
And the same thing we are looking forward now, while we will be in India, this 3rd walk is going on until today.
Right.
Neither the Asian media nor the British media, they have taken any plunge into that to expose our walk to the people of this country. I always say that for the last over 55 years, this is my home. I was 22 years old when I came over here, right? And I have spent all my life over here. And I was involved in every political party as well. I was passionate in my 30s and 40s in one of the British politics. But when I retired in 65, I abandoned all that. I still support my party,
right.
but I don't play any active part at all. Right? My passion is India Association and charity work through that for good causes.
Okay, that's really good. I mean, it's good to have an optimistic outlook as well. I think that's the kind of key message I think I get from you, that it's always got to be optimistic, and maybe that's the secret to long life, actually. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You know, it's very easy to fall into cynical trap, you know, like I do. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, you mentioned this thing about there's a link between, you know, exposing possibly, you know, you have a lot of referrals and you can see that maybe there's a link to cancer through the dental work that you do. But I haven't asked you this question yet, right? So, you know, why are you so inspired to support this? Why is Sterling so inspired to support, you know, Bobby? You know, I'm just trying to get inside your head about what that is, you know?
Well, ever since I've met him, you know, it's just blown me away. And, you know, we've had a lot of talks about the walk, and with my passion for cancer screening here, it made me realise there was an opportunity to open that door to people out in India. It has been tough getting support. A lot of people have pledged support.
But you have this event happening as well, haven't you?
We've got 2 events coming up, 2 fundraisers.
Right.
One is on the 10th of October, which is Bobby's Black Tie event.
Okay. Is that what it's called? Bobby's Black Tie event?
Yep.
Okay. Right.
And we also
You've got a
have...
poster for that anyway.
You do. And we're holding an event with our foundation, Sterling Dental, on the 28th of November to support
It's too
the
late,
walk.
he's over there by then.
Yes, we're going to have him live.
Do a video link.
He's going to do a video
Yeah, okay,
link
cool. Use the media properly.
to our guests that evening,
Okay.
and you know, we'll see how they're getting on.
Fantastic. Okay, so
We want you to come and cover us.
oh really? Oh my God! Well, we're trying to book that. We'll see if we can. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Let's come back to this issue about. You mentioned it. I thought it was quite interesting. It's kind of within, you know, you get inspired by our gurus of doing the selfless service, right? So when you talk to the kids, right, and you kind of there's a Punjabi element and there's also the Sikh history element as well. Do you identify particular stories? Are you not worried though sometimes you do all this work, right, that you don't necessarily have enough time to record some of this stuff and make it reusable and repurposeful? And we were having this conversation last night. How difficult is it for you to do your full-time job? I mean, you've got your full-time job to do, and then actually come home, get enough energy to kind of plan the lessons, structure the thing, you know, the whole program is going to happen, and then go forward and then hopefully record it and reuse it. I mean, it's very difficult to do, isn't it?
I know. I mean, to be honest, it's the passion that drives us. I mean, you come back, you work in London, you work in bank,
Yeah, I mean, you work in London, you've got like a massive journey to come out of London. And,
yes,
yeah.
and you, you know, you work as you do, you know, you work hard. But it's the passion that what result that you're seeing in getting, you know, connecting to those children, passing some knowledge, and that's the word called gyan, being knowledge. You're passing the knowledge to children, to next generation, and that passion kind of, you know, drives you. But what we do is that we have been doing that for a few years. That has given us the ideas with Anita's background in education and also has helped us do that. But yes, it will be good opportunity, honestly, is to see what else can we do. So, working with people like you who are doing a tremendous amount of work in this media and giving us ideas is always a great thing to take us to next level.
I wanted to just raise one point, which was Jeremy Corbyn recently said, I want open debate. I will listen to everyone, and I firmly believe that leadership is about listening. Yeah. What do you? I mean, we've got a few minutes left. What do you think of that? Do you think there's a strong element of listening to what's happening around you that helps you kind of channel your energy and go, this is where I need to be, this is what I need to do? Do you think that listening is an important attribute? It's quite weird, because listening, you don't necessarily identify listening with leadership. Leaders, we must do this. Not that many people listen and say, these are the kind of things that we need to do. Do you kind of redefine your campaigns that you do based on what you hear?
Well, about that, I'm a little bit passive about it. But yes, I think so. Yeah.
Right. You managed to modify your campaigns based on what the feedback that you've had. You haven't had much.
No, I don't want to modify my campaign. The campaign is purely for good causes.
Yeah, but the fact that you pointed out that there wasn't a lot of media coverage makes you listen to the fact that there wasn't. Maybe I need to do something about it next time.
This is what I would like to say to the Indian media or Asian media or the British media, that look at us, what we are doing. We're not doing for the Indians only, we are doing for this country, which is our country.
They should be
We
listening.
are no more immigrants over here. We got our third and fourth generation in this country. Let us play a part like we play a part in our home. This is our big home. Britain is our big home.
Right.
So let us play in the part in the politics, in the charities, in the sports, you name it. We are very, very little represented, very, very small representation from our side. That's what I wanted. But the media-wise, I'm very sad about it, that they don't pick up people who are trying to do something on their behalf in this country. That is the sad story of that. If you know somebody in the media will do wonders for that. If you don't know the media, no matter how much passion you have got for any purpose or any charity or anything, you're nowhere. It has proved in the past, and I hope it will not be repeated again this time.
No, I think it's a really interesting advice, and I think it's interesting that comes into the kind of work that you do as well. And even if you're going to do that event, it was a good idea. Maybe record it so you can reuse that material. One of the things that we can learn, and the fact that we've got all this social media and technology now, that we can record stuff, we can retransmit it, we can be a bit more kind of social about how we get that message out there. And I think that's kind of a huge benefit. And then what do you think about, we've got a couple of minutes left, what do you think? Do you think that's something that you would want to take away, that you can, I know we did a workshop, didn't we? For the
yes,
school.
when we did the Sikhi camps, which we have been doing for years, and so we can
absolutely
take advantage of that.
And the point of listening is, it's absolutely crucial to our work, is listening to our audience, listening to the children, listening to the parents, and that's what we're here for. Is, you have a fantastic audience, and we just want to say everyone can do something, whatever age you are, and we're open to suggestions. We always want people to come forward, give us ideas. We've tried a lot of things, but there's so much more to be done.
It's all about what we can do together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look at, it's a common aims, work together for the same aim.
And no advert for Tesco, but every little helps, right? But in your case, tons of stuff. In your case, tons of stuff as well. So that's it for the show this time round. We really appreciate our guests coming in and spending time with us, and I hope your training's going well, and wish you all the best with all the events. And we put some information about that. We have put some information about the website as well. We wish you all the best in the future in terms of the fantastic work that you're doing, and climbing mountains and getting coats and inspiring kids and doing all the other great stuff that you do in terms of the Punjabi school as well. And we look forward to you coming back, and hopefully you can come back in a few months' time and tell us all about the exciting adventure that you've, hopefully not falling off the sofas, but having someone to look after you.
Not to take away the great work you are doing, actually.
Get another sofa, put it next to it so it kind of stays stabilised. So we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we we hope you enjoyed the show. If you've got any feedback, please send us at info@seekchannel.tv, or you can drop a line through the Twitter accounts and all the other jazz that's out there. Thanks so much for all the producers and as well as the crew in the background that have helped us put this show together. Until next time, Wai Vijay Khalsa, Wai Vijay Fateh.